Um,
John, can I piggyback off of Ryan
yeah,
for two
go ahead.
seconds? But I think that that's something just because, Ryan, Cale, we've got great collaboration, but from a consumer standpoint, from somebody like Cale on a brand side, Ryan on a supply chain side, and then myself on a contract manufacturing side, doing SKU rationalization, metrics as well as raw materials. So, we operate very transparently with our customers. What is the highest price driver in that formula? And then working with somebody like Ryan and communicating that to Cale, like, hey, Cale, due to these factors, this raw material is 30, 40, 50% of your actual cost of goods. Here's some alternatives that we could think of. Here's some alternatives that Ryan could think of so that we can, work down from a vertically integrated formulation standpoint between brand, supplier, and contract manufacturer. So paying attention to how a product is marketed, what are the marketing points around that product, but then also the one trick that I never like to use, but I've always had it used against me from other competitors when it comes to contract manufacturing. What does it say on the supplement facts panel in your finished product spec, right? My biggest one was kind of discovering there was a coleus for scoli 10% for scolin content raw material that a customer thought that they were getting in their product. So when I looked at the label, I saw coleus for scoli extract. So then we asked for a finished product spec as well as a raw material specification on that. And we discovered that the manufacturer, because it was just listed as an extract on the SFP, was actually putting in a 4-to-1 versus a 10% for Skolin. So that's why it's so important to stay in tune with the supplement facts panel, how those can affect your pricing as well. But being able to communicate with somebody like a Ryan and back to Cale, like I don't want to lose to somebody on pricing, right? If I'm going to lose, it's going to be on delivery, quality, and service. So pricing, we have to get creative. We have to tighten up our communication and offer a little bit of transparency forward because of the risk associated to not doing that. Well, I don't want my customer to know the price per kilo or their cost driver. Well, great. You're putting yourself in a great position to lose that customer because you're not valuing the relationship and the partnership.
All right. Well, all interesting perspective. Jumping forward to industry trends, and we're gonna have to hit this one a little bit faster, fellows, just so we can make sure we get to the Q&A here. Jacob will stay with you. We've already touched on some of the latest trends. High level, just hit me the quick ones. What's the big ones right now? What does everybody want to hear?
I would definitely say the Ozempic craze that's going on right now. I know that we've already touched around that. Women's health, wellness, sports nutrition, menopause, those are all growing categories. I love playing in that field because women are typically a more educated consumer. They care more about what they're actually putting into their body. But when you look at brand loyalty analytics, if you scrub your data, I'm willing to bet that from an LTV perspective, you're going to see that women typically stay on a subscription model longer and with a brand longer than men. Having sports nutrition retail experience, I would deal with women that once they found that brand, what else did that brand offer? And then they were going to stick to that brand. So we're kind of seeing, at generationally an all-time high of people in a certain demographic being over the age of 50. What complications come with that when we talk about menopause, when we talk about bone decay, when we talk about preserving muscle. That's another one as well, especially when you have a lot of women hopping on Ozempic. We are starting to see a lot of requests when it comes to how do I protect my muscle, how do I protect my hair, skin, and nails. Gut health is also that other one that we're because serotonin regulation, gut skin access, gut brain access.
Gut biome.
Yeah, gut biome, man, is absolutely crazy because look at the food that we eat. A lot of us aren't putting our hands and our feet in soil on a day-to-day basis and getting a diverse microbiome. So that was like some of the key trends from Probiota. And one thing that during that trade show that I had never thought about that was very interesting was that there was over 234 million antibiotic prescriptions in the US on a yearly basis. How many brands are focusing on gut health based off of that, antibiotic that's going in there? It's not just targeting the bad, it's killing all of the good as well as the bad. So targeted ads in regards to, I had deviated septum surgery. I was on an antibiotic. And this was the first time a doctor had recommended that I actually take a probiotic. So when we talk about trends, I also like to play on the forefront of how can we create it. Do we want to just hop on the bandwagon? Do we just want to hop on what somebody else is doing, or do we want to go out there and actually create something through analytics and research, create our own trend and ride our own wave, and then everybody else has to compete against us? But for the big ones right now, muscle preservation, gut health, Ozempic, greens, health and wellness, and women's health for sure.
Yeah, most Americans are lazy consumers. They're just waiting for a doctor to prescribe you something. So not really doing the research to kind of find out those other options in the market.
Absolutely.
Cale, what are you seeing on your side? I know you're probably getting a whole different angle.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob spoke to a lot of product specific industry trends. I think those are all very accurate as to what we're seeing. I think some of the trends, the things we're seeing on the brand side, I mean, one, the continuation of creator-led brands. I mean, yeah, everyone's aware that, YouTube has been around for a long time, but the continuation of like seeing the YouTube creators who realize like that they have a long-term value opportunity with their audience to kind of convert them into consumables. And like everyone sees that consumables are one of the best products for long-term value because you can set up subscription services, things of that nature. I mean, you can only sell so much merch, and at some point, someone wearing some ridiculous like merch from a creator who is 16, when that creator's 30 and has serious up a little bit, and when that purchaser turns 30, they're not wearing that same merch, right? And so I think we're going to continue to see more and more of the creator-led. I was in a text thread with some industry friends the other day, and I think we're going to also start seeing the AI based kind of brand and marketing. TikTok has already launched a whole AI kind of avatar that is like very, very similar to what looks like a human in a short form advertisement. So that's like a whole new avenue. Like I think for a long time, the industry in general was like very reserved about playing on TikTok because the thought was it was going to go away. It seems as if at this point it's going to stay. And so people who are jumping on, who are learning that platform, man, they're like basically kids out there who are like figuring out how to market themselves, how to like market products as an affiliate, and brands that are jumping into that space and figuring that out and kind of pushing through the barrier of understanding and all that kind of stuff are going to see avenue to kind of market products in a new way. I think another one, it's kind of product oriented, but organic has always been a certified side of things. But with the increased kind of social media oriented sales, I think organic is moving from certified as the like final to story. And I think the regenerative organic is a new big term where it's like, I don't want to just get a certificate that says this is organic. I want to see the story. I want to feel like it's organic in the way that it's certified organic. But then like with that, it's getting harder and harder to find organic products because it feels as if the lines between what is truly organic and what is not have started blurring. But then when you actually do go truly organic, those products are harder to find. And it's hard to find someone who's doing a coconut water powder organically that is willing to carve off a portion of their field to have different water, different whatever it might be, and doesn't allow the pesticide stream from the non-organic to run. It's like, there's a lot of work. And so, I mean, even in some products, chlorella, spirulina, for instance, you can't even find an American based organic option because it doesn't even make sense from a cost perspective. But yet, on the brand side, you've still got a large audience that says, oh, I want organic spirulina, or I want organic chlorella. I think we're going to see more and more products kind of like that, ingredients that are requested organic that are just like economically don't make sense. Ryan, I'll kick that over to you because this kind of like starts to dive into your field a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan, what everybody wants the bells and whistles. How are you catering to that?
Yeah, I mean the trends right now, of course, Jacob hit on the GLP-1, the women's health, gut health. Those are massive topics right now. And as a raw materials supplier, we're not always really the trend setter. We pretty much fortify the trends. It comes from, Cale to Jacob. And then to me going, hey, these are the things that people are requesting from us consistently. What can you do on a supply chain basis? Now, then we have to go back and start figuring out that entire supply chain, making sure that it's a secure supply chain. We're getting the real raw material. You know, berberine is a super hot product right now. But as Jacob mentioned about label claims, are they just putting that there's berberine in it? Well, is it natural berberine or is it synthetic berberine? You know, what are you marketing? Are you actually getting a real product? Is it blended with synthetic berberine and natural? And then you're able to get the material for, 20% cheaper. And, you're turning a blind eye to that at the end of the day. And who knows what that does to the brand if they're caught. That's always the if. And a lot of people will play in that gray area. Additionally, with the organics, we had to go get an organic certificate for our USDA organic certificate for our warehouse so that we can house organic raw materials. And we have to pay every time we want to add an ingredient on there so that we know it's truly organic certified from the conception of the plant to the processing to our warehouse, handled in an organic manner, and then sold to our customers, and making sure that the product is truly organic. And there's a lot of stuff out there that just, we used to call it paper organic. It says it on the paperwork, but the product truly isn't organic. And again, people turn the blind eye. They don't want to listen to, hey, yeah, it costs 20-30% more for real organic, but you're actually getting the product you're requesting from your manufacturer, from your distributor. And it causes a lot of, back and forth with people. Again, some people may not worry about it, but the reputable brands out there, they truly care about it. Going into the gut brain axis, that's a huge segment now. We started studying products that do connect those two. We're finding there's more serotonin in the gut than there is in the brain, and there's a constant back and forth to the two. Then we went out and found a product that has clinical studies to back that up so that we can be part of that trend. We didn't create it, but we're fortifying it again. We're always trying to find the product that meets the demand of the market to continue to, let Jacob produce the products at the right label claims that he's looking to get, and for Cale to be able to market the product with the label claims and not get slapped by the SEC for making false advertisements on something.
Absolutely.
It comes from all of us in the supply chain to make sure that the consumer is getting the right product that does what we're saying it does, because people can make outlandish claims, and at the end of the day, who gets hurt? It's the consumer. And that's, we're all trying to prevent
And
that.
I don't want to cut you off here, Ryan, but I want to make sure we get to the Q&A. But that's one, certainly any consumer that essentially had a peek behind the curtain in the nutraceutical industry will find that it is essentially the wild, wild west. There's a lot of discrepancies between products. It is a crazy industry. So certainly a lot of that.